You know, I got to say, my next guest is probably the most noticeable person kind of pushing back on the Sahm Rule because, well, it's Claudia Sahm. She's a chief economist at New Century Advisors. All right, Claudia, we spoke just recently, and it seems everyone now, here's an interesting thing. Everyone's adding their own tidbits to your indicator. Now, I'm not sure if you ever put out an official pamphlet, but people were saying yes, but, no, but. In fact, give you an example. Someone could use the full-time jobs versus part-time jobs, right? That's indicating a potential recession. So what do you need to see to be convinced that recession, we're in it or it's right around the corner?
A recession is a broad-based contraction economic activity. So I think we need to see more signs of it. I don't think we need to see more signs to have, say, policymakers act like the Federal Reserve. But in terms of like really saying this is a recession, we're not there. The labor market data, and frankly, if it continues to worsen, that is a very negative sign because a lot of the other measures we have will revise a lot. That very first chart you showed about what it looked like before with the Sahm Rule and other data, and now, well, that's what the data look like
Right.
now for 2001. And like Anna Wong has been very clear about, we have to be careful that particularly in moments where the economy turns,
Right.
it can be really hard to measure it.
And I mean, for me also, we not only do we get, the rate of change sometimes speeds up on the way down. There's revisions, and we find out what we thought wasn't true. And I want to go back, and I actually did go back and read transcripts of this emergency Fed meeting. It was January 3rd, 2001. Greenspan, he argued for an emergency rate cut. And he talked about a lot of things that it seems like this could be the conversation at the Fed right now. And he said, listen, he compared to this comforting feeling that most economists say that we're not there yet. He said it was of a person falling off a 30-story building and still experiencing a state of tranquility 10 floors above the street. So far, so good. He went on to say that he was asked, well, is this an emergency cut? Would it be a sort of insurance policy? And he said, yes. Is that the way maybe the Fed should be looking at this now?
Well, the Fed should be watching very carefully what's happening with the data. I think especially with the next employment report will be decisive for what they do in December. A difference between now and back when Greenspan was making those very, he was right on there, is that the markets, they're doing some of that intermeeting work for the Fed. Right. When the jobs report came out, we've seen the futures federal funds rate. We've seen some of the interest rates moved up. That's what we need, is to take a little bit of pressure off, right? A sign of a recession, a sign of not even a recession, just weakening that is going past what is necessary to get inflation down. Well, steps should be taken. It doesn't just have to be the Fed cutting rates. It can also be the anticipation of that coming. The Fed does have to then deliver, but they don't have to do it in between. That is a big, break the glass.
Right. So no emergency cut for you, but you were saying cut that even before the jobs report, you told me the Fed was behind. So are we now at a point where you want to see, or we need a 50 basis point cut in September?
Given all that we know now, I think a 50 basis point cut would be appropriate. Do I think that's what the Fed is going to do? Not unless they really feel like they have to. Right. They would like to go gradually. And I think that's, I think that could be very appropriate. My view is they should have been cutting for a while because the economy it's easing off and it is normalizing. The Fed needs to normalize. So they should be doing some catch up. I think, unfortunately, I think that probably is where they're going to be headed, because I think what we're seeing, even if the Sahm Rule is overstating it some, it is picking up on something. And many of these other indicators you showed are picking up on something that is very worrisome.
All right. I only have maybe 20 seconds, so I'll ask a personal question. Now that you're famous everywhere, you're getting free drinks, people opening more doors for you. I mean, how is it to be like the ultimate economic celebrity in America right now? I mean, you must be getting a whole bunch of free stuff.
No, this has not been fun. And it's really tough to have. It was never supposed to turn on outside of a recession. I'm not trying to stoke any kind of panic, but there is no fame and fortune in this.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you had time to come on the show today, Claudia. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.